If you want to know the best fire shinobi build in Yotei, you are in the right place. With more than 120 hours of in-game experience, I went back to the drawing board and optimized my Blazing Shinobi build. A build that can clear a group of enemies with hard-hitting fire Kusarigama AoE attacks, masters the Oni's Flame to one-shot enemies in one-on-one fights, and can easily take out and stun lock targets with multiple fire kunai. So if you are looking for the best and strongest fire build in the game, this build is for you. The 9-tail armor is simply the best quickfire focus armor in the game that allows you to increase the damage of your tools and also increase the duration of status effects by a moderate amount. The fire kunai setup and Oni's Flame are the two strongest quickfire weapons in the game, and the 9-tail armor powers them up even more. Your overall damage is simply immense, and one-shotting targets with this setup frequently is part of the norm when using this build. The fire element is broken in this game since normal attacks imbued with fire cannot be blocked, and also increases their damage overall. Not only that, setting targets on fire quickly to stun them, and the fire will deal prolonged damage over time because of the 9-tails armor's increased status duration effect. This build is so broken, allowing you to disregard the weapon type system and take out a group of enemies without a hassle, as long as you have your fire kunai and Oni's Flame. The second passive gives you a minor chance to gain 2 quickfire ammo when assassinating enemies. Even though this build is a shinobi theme focus, I rarely do stealth with this setup. But how can you assassinate targets easily if we don't do stealth? I hear you asking, my dear viewer. Well, if you are following my builds lately, I've suggested using the smoke bombs a lot since this is the easiest way to pull off chain assassinations. And I am telling you, even the chance of getting quickfire ammo in every assassination is minor. When the passive takes effect, you will see multiple kunais being replaced, or most importantly, the Oni's Flame's ammo can be replaced easily. The maximum Oni's Flame that you can carry as of now is 5 at a time, and when they run out, you need to access your camp and craft more Oni's Flame and restock. And not to mention, it takes time to craft this type of sub-weapon because you will need sake to make more Oni's Flame. This armor will give you the chance to maintain your tools big time, especially the Oni's Flame, to keep this insane setup to its maximum potential when in combat. Although this build is fully geared towards head-on fights, of course you do have an option to take advantage of stealth strategies. And the third passive of the 9-tail armor reduces enemy detection and assassination noise by a moderate amount. Enemies will not simply detect you that easily, allowing you to smoothly pull off assassinations if you choose stealth over head-on fights. Get the 9-tail armor by progressing through the Kitsune's main story, mainly the Blood and Snow chapter, and I'm showing the exact location on the screen right now. Just follow the Kitsune's main story by clearing straightforward objectives, which will eventually lead you to the location of the 9-tails armor. And if you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. And by now, we've already know how broken the charm of Hidden Blade is, especially for this build. Instead of throwing 2 kunai per use, this charm will add 3 additional kunais per throw. Throwing 5 kunais in total at a time increases your range coverage and damage overall, allowing you to control the combat in your favor. Get this broken charm by liberating one of the farms in Hana's quest in Tesho's Ridge. Find Hana, the kunai master, in the location that I am showing on the screen right now to also start the kunai quest and unlock the sub-weapon. The charm of Burning Blades is one of the absolute broken charms in the game, a charm that makes your kunai inflict fire and ignite enemies. A single kunai is already too much for an enemy to handle, dealing immense stagger and raw damage. But adding fire on it is a different story, as it makes enemies flinch and makes them suffer damage over time. So now, imagine dealing with 5 burning kunai. It is simply too much and overpowered. Get this charm by liberating all of the 5 farms required in Hana's quest in Tesho's Ridge, and your kunais will not be the same throughout the game. All of your weapons are buffed with fire most of the time when playing this build, so the charm of Homosubi is one of the best charms you need. This charm increases your overall fire damage, which is very useful when taking advantage of your fire kunai and the Oni's Flame sub-weapon. You will be getting the charm of Homosubi by climbing and paying respect to the Winding Tear Shrine in Ishikari Plains. The charm of Fearful Mastery gives you a major chance to terrify nearby targets every time you disarm enemies. The Dance of Wrath skill will allow you to disarm 3 targets at a time and will serve as your main opener when using this build. When targets are terrified, they will suffer additional damage, so your fire kunai and main weapon buff with the Oni's Flame will even hit harder. Bosses in this game can be terrified as well, so if you hit them with a fully buffed fire weapon, you'll be seeing huge amounts of damage. Get this charm by progressing the main story and getting it as a reward in one of the Onryu's altars, so make sure to visit them when the game prompts you. The Oni's Flame is our main damage buffer in this build, so making it last should be our priority. And the charm of the Fiery Rage can do the job by increasing the Oni's Flame duration by a massive amount. This is very useful when traveling between locations in enemy camps, making sure your Oni's Flame buff will stay in action longer. Get the charm of Fiery Rage by winning the Zeni Hajiki minigame in Ben 10 Port located in Oshima Coast. The fire element makes this build broken, so making the use of fire in combat is a priority, and spreading fire to nearby targets is an optimal strategy. So the charm of Fire Mastery will help you achieve that goal, allowing you to spread fire to your nearby enemies by simply hitting them with heavy attacks. We will be dealing with a lot of heavy attacks with this build, so you will be spreading fire like it's nothing. The more targets suffering from fire damage over time, the faster the enemies go down. Get this charm by winning the Zeni Hajiki minigame in Ishikari Market twice, located in Ishikari Plains. The Kusarigama will take the spotlight as it is one of our key weapons in this build. This weapon has the widest and longest range when it comes to AoE attacks in the game. When it's paired with the Oni's Flame, using its focused AoE attacks can inflict multiple targets with fire and damage them in the process. And remember, the Oni's Flame is unblockable, so you can bypass the weapon type system by doing this, and the damage over time from the fire element stings as well. Plus the damage from the AoE attacks of the Kusarigama, so all in all, you can easily wipe out an entire group of enemies without much effort. Another main weapon of the Blazing Shinobi is the Odachi, which can delete targets with 1 to 2 swings. The Oni's Blade will turn this beast weapon into something much godly since enemies can block the Odachi. The heavy attacks of this weapon not only deal massive damage to targets but also spreads the fire. Or using the weapon's spirit attacks can one-shot all types of regular enemies, which is insane. I'm not saying that the other weapons are not viable for you to use in this build, and in fact, you are very much welcome to use the katana, the dual katana, or the yari. You can pretty much decimate your targets by using each of these weapons' spirit attacks and buffing them with Oni's Flame to 1 or 2 shots targets. Of course, by now, you've already know that the kunai is the perfect sub-weapon for this build, and 5 kunais alone are broken enough to crowd control or damage multiple targets. And not to mention, adding fire in the mix will make your setup godly. Kunai can also deal significant damage to bosses since each of the kunai's damage stacks at point blank range. The smoke bomb, on the other hand, is one of the best sub-weapon for the Blazing Shinobi, allowing the use of this tool to disengage from enemies quickly. This is your primary and fastest way of gaining your quickfire ammo back, especially when in the heat of combat. Get the smoke bomb by progressing the Gitsune's main story in Teschio's Ridge, mainly the Poison and Lies chapter. When it comes to the key skills to make this build work, the assassination tree is mandatory, especially the chain assassination upgrade path, so you will have the chance to gain quickfire ammo while taking down 3 enemies in the process. The Kusarigama's Ferocious Whirlwind, the Evasive Maul, the Ferocious Storm upgrade path are obviously suggested, so you can take advantage of the massive AoE attack range these attacks provide. Upgrading the Onryo Strike to Dance of Wrath is also suggested so you can disarm 3 targets at a time, giving you even more chances of spreading fear to your enemies. Get the Dance of Wrath skill by clearing the Jin Sakai quest located in the Forgotten Shrine in Oshima Coast. Many of you requested to have at least a build overview in all of my guides, so here we are. The Blazing Shinobi utilizes increased fire direct damage and damage over time to inflict the highest number possible on single targets with the use of Odachi and your other weapon types, while having the ability to clear out multiple enemies with Fire Kunai and the Kusarigama's AoE attack in a flash. All of these godly combinations are possible because of the Oni's Flame's broken effect. You do have a lot of options when playing this build, and of course, the best strategy is you to inflict as much fire damage to your enemies as possible. Your ultimate killer move is casting the Dance of Wrath first, so you do have a chance to terrify your targets and gain a damage bonus. Switch to Kusarigama and buff it with Oni's Flame and start dishing out the busted AoE focus attacks to wipe the majority of the targets surrounding you. This move is so powerful that it can bypass any weapon types and clear multiple enemies in seconds. The second strategy is pulling the Dance of Wrath skill and straight spamming your fire kunai to wipe multiple targets in a flash. Or what you can do instead is, after the Dance of Wrath, you can crowd control your enemies with fire kunai and let them burn, while you are taking enemies with your Odachi or Kusarigama one at a time. And when you notice that the fire damage over time expires, throw another set of fire kunai to lock enemies under a fire state. If you are out of ammo, simply cast the smoke bomb and do a chain assassination, and have the chance to gain kunai and the Oni's flame ammo to get you back in action. But if you want to know the strongest samurai build in the game that can destroy everything, this video has all the bells and whistle. So click on this video and I will catch you on the next one.